Hello, my name is Elise Dewsbury. I am the Artistic Director of New Musicals, Inc. in Los Angeles. And on this occasion of Veterans Day, I would like to express my immense gratitude to veterans all over the world for their service and sacrifice. Here at New Musicals, Inc., we have been working on a particular project to celebrate veterans and their stories, and I would like to share some of it with you this evening. So Proudly We Hail is a musical web series which honors veterans by dramatizing and musicalizing their stories in their own words. We began this project in the summer of 2020 by putting out a call to veterans who were willing to share their stories with us. We were overwhelmed by the response and found ourselves with the challenging task of choosing just a handful of these amazing stories to put through our process. And that process was, we paired veterans with an artistic team comprised of a composer, lyricist, director, and dramaturg, who then helped to shape the story into a short musical retelling for the digital platform. We filmed the episodes at our studio in North Hollywood and then released them on our website, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, and other digital platforms. Each of these episodes is its own powerful gem, and we are so proud to be able to help veterans share their stories. We have also been so humbled by the response of the veterans who have let us know what this opportunity has meant to them. I want to share some of the episodes with you tonight, but I'd like to start by letting you hear some thoughts from the veterans we've been working with, as well as the performers who got the opportunity to portray them.
Well, I had a friend and she posted on a Native Roll 3 page about things for the military. She posted on it that you guys were looking for some stories, and I thought, oh, I'll just try. What the heck? So I just submitted it, and I just waited about a couple months, and then found out Guy Scott called me and told me I had been selected, and wow, I was surprised.
I was excited to submit a story. It was actually the toughest part was figuring out what I thought would best be suited by music and in the musical format.
I really, really was hoping my story would get picked. And when the letter finally came, it was an acceptance letter. I was so thrilled. I can't, I don't know if I've ever expressed that, how much I was thrilled to be chosen.
I was actually very surprised when I was told that I was elected for the story to become a musical. I'm going to be honest with you, I have never thought about having a musical.
I think I had the easiest part. I just had to explain my history, my story, my emotions, what I was thinking, what I felt, what I saw, experienced to two individuals that just didn't live the life that I did. But what they were able to do is hear things about my story and able to pluck things to build. They really, through a couple of interviews that we did, they were able to pull together beautiful music with beautiful words that can explain, that absolutely resonate with me in a way that I could never write myself.
It's been a wonderful experience, growing experience for me, and also, and I appreciate the opportunity to take part in this. And it's that you guys are reaching out to vets, because there are a lot of vets with really interesting stories, and I think they're important to share those stories. It's another way of bridging that military civilian divide. So thanks for what you're doing.
And the work that you do at NMI is so important because it gives not just writers and creatives a safe space, but you open up your space to those who are not as accomplished as others to help them create these pieces like this. And I think right now, with what we've gone through over the last year and some change, I just know that people are going to want to write, and they're going to express themselves. And they're just lucky that you guys are here.
The music has got to portray the veterans' feelings, not the words, the feelings. It's more than the words, it's the feelings. And Ryan did an outstanding job. And then, you guys came out with the perfect singer and actor. You should see the reaction in Portugal.
But I've never done something like this where you're honoring someone's journey and honoring his story. and trying to be as honest as possible. So it's very touching and enlightening for me, and I have a big responsibility to be able to tell the story correctly.
I think it's important for everyone to hear these stories. It's a transitional experience for veterans in ancient history, Greek history and Roman history. When the warriors came back from combat, they would sit around and tell stories about their excursions and what happened to the people that were left at home. And that helped, their community understand them, and it helped the combat military veteran transition more into the everyday life that was now waiting for them. And that's a huge, huge important gap that I think New Musicals is fulfilling through this.
I found myself that when I would write about something, I would stop thinking about it. And the more I wrote, the less I was, I wouldn't say tormented by it, but the less those thoughts would be in my mind, because I could have time to think about it, explain it, put it in emotional understanding for myself, put it on a piece of paper, and kind of like catalog it away out of my mind. And it was something I didn't have the time to do that in the moment over there. It was just like things were always happening. You just have to just keep moving on. So it gave me time to kind of compartmentalize and understand and get the stuff out of my head. And it was very cathartic.
There was, when I retired, I was having a bad time concerning readjusting the routine. You take the camouflage fatigue out, and now you are in civilian attire, and you don't have to go to a certain meeting at a certain hour, and you have got to produce this amount of words in this amount of time. Everything stopped, and guess what? It becomes very stressful.
But the more we talk in the community, and like we're doing right now, it's going to help everybody kind of understand why veterans do act the way they do sometimes, and that they don't want to be that way at all. They don't. They want to be their happy-go-lucky self, but when you go to war, it changes you. It does. And you just have to realize it and work on it, and the family needs to realize that too, that they don't want to be that way at all.
I have been so blessed because I have had a few Zoom meetings with Billy and with our director, Johnny. So we were able to talk about her life and her experiences. And it brought such illumination to the lyrics that Angela crafted, because I could tell that she had taken Billy's stories and put them into the songs and into the story. And so I knew and had the luxury of knowing the backstory on the red hair, white skin, blue eyes. I know exactly who that patient was and her experience with that young man.
But seeing it come together, for me, it was awesome, but it was kind of like a weird out of body experience where I'm looking at my life be portrayed by someone else. I've never had that experience before, so it was kind of unique, but I was able to look at it objectively from somebody that, like, I wanted to hear the words and hear the music and the emotion, and it just had all the goosebumps for me personally. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. This is something that I couldn't ever do on my own. So it just sounded so good, and I was just really impressed how it came together, and I really think it stands on its own, that it can hopefully reach out to other people, and people can pluck something from my experience through that portrayal and find something that maybe they don't know about the war, or they can learn from it. And I'm very happy that exists, that it can reach out to other people.
I actually know a handful of veterans about my age, but there's not a lot of stories going around. They don't usually want to talk about it. It's I don't know if that's a personal choice, if they're tired of talking about it. But I haven't had much insight into that world, so it was really interesting to hear what it was like to go over and to have that camaraderie and that like the tightness of your regiment, in the middle of all of this this warfare, these explosions, these terrifying things, and I'm really fascinated by the support bond between these people and how they look out for each other.
I have met so many artistic and talented veterans, and I'll say that it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter whether you served in combat or even if you deployed, there are stories worth telling, and there's something about the experience of serving in the military that I think opens up a part of us that makes us better storytellers.
But I was very, very, very lucky with the team that I was working with. And my composer Ryan she's just great. I mean, the only thing that I regret is that it is over.
Now I'd like to share just a few of our completed episodes so you can experience the power of these musicalized stories. First, here is Christmas in Afghanistan, based on the experiences of Army veteran Addison Blue. It's about a soldier stationed in Afghanistan who accidentally buys an entire truck full of bread on Christmas Eve. It has book by Addison Blue, music by Michael Fink, and lyrics by Addison Blue and Michael Fink. It was directed by Megan Rees and features performer Tanakis McLean.
Gather around the Christmas tree, kids, for a holiday war story. Yeah, you can bring your hot cocoa. Oh God, you spilled it! I'm sorry I shouted. We're gonna have a wonderful Christmas Eve, and I can just clean it up later. No, don't sit in it now, it's too late, you're already wet. Well, you could just sit in the cocoa, because we're gonna have a wonderful Christmas, no matter what. You know why? Because you can find the Christmas spirit anywhere. Let me tell you about the time I learned the true meaning of Christmas in Afghanistan. Just imagine it. There I was, Kandahar, 2012, Christmas Eve. And all I want for Christmas is a holiday dinner, just like back at home. It's Christmas Eve in Afghanistan. There isn't snow, but there's lots of sand. And the Taliban's bombs are wrapped and hid away. Anyway, no gifts are placed under an invisible tree. I miss my friends and my family. At least I have old Xbox games to play. And I'd love to see the neighbors here today. But locals here don't know that it's Christmas. And I'm not sure what holidays they believe. Hey Mo, what's the Pashto word for Christmas? There isn't one. Huh. Well, how will I tell them it's Christmas Eve? Hey Miller, I'll trade you some of this old Halloween candy I found for one of those packets of peanut butter your mom sent you. No? Well, Merry Christmas to you too, man. The only gift that I want this year is Christmas dinner and Christmas cheer. But the cook we got can't cook to save his life. Come to think of it, he did have to save his life last week. So I can't wait to get back to the base and help the chef and lend a hand and clean the damn place. The only two things that might get in the way are a terrorist group and a boss who hates this day. The Taliban don't care if it's Christmas. And while I'm hopeful, I'm also not naive. And there's my boss who doesn't seem to know it's Christmas. So I'm on patrol, yay! In the fucking desert on Christmas Eve. Oh look, it's a shooting mortar. It's beautiful. Incoming! We're working hard to unwrap the minds that are buried in sand. But when we're done, we'll have a feast just like we planned. I might be missing my family in Atlanta. I might be missing traditions that we share, but I know the bright red drones are guiding Santa through the sandstorms and the smoke-filled frosty air, where no one gives a damn about Nagarham. That includes my boss and the Taliban, and the little village where no one seems to care. And I know that they don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe I could wish them all a merry Eid? Is there a Farsi phrase for Merry Christmas? There isn't one. No, it doesn't exist. Well, at least I'll have the night off, unless there's something else I missed. And through it all, I simply can't believe I'm out here in the desert on Christmas Eve. The gravel road goes on forever, and the observation blimps watch silently overhead. The poppy fields are so tall, someone could pop up and shoot me at any second. And if tomorrow didn't hold a glimmer of hope, I'd probably just let them. I could tell we're almost home, though, by the familiar bullet holes in the mud walls on either side of the route. It's a long shot, but if we can make it back soon and use every minute we have, we can prepare an enjoyable holiday dinner for tomorrow. And that'll fix everything. We could make my favorite dinner rolls, bake a frozen pie, open up a can of cranberry sauce and vegetables. Not mixed together, of course. Oh, look, there's another bomb. In festive green and red wires. Maybe the Taliban did know it's Christmas. The boss dug up the bomb and stuck it in his rucksack to take back home and end the day. Oh God, the bomb went off. Where's the boss? I can't see him or hear him, which means he's dead. The boss turned into blue and green and pink mist on Christmas. Oh, God. What, Miller? You see something? It's the boss? He's still alive? And he has all of his body parts? It's a Christmas miracle! Let me help you up. What did you say? I negligently set off the bomb? You're blaming me? Wow. Fuck you! Oops. Sorry, kids. I meant frick you. But yeah, the boss wants me to teach bomb safety classes tomorrow on Christmas Day with everyone there for 4 hours. 4 hours! Gee, thanks for such an exciting and last-minute gift. Anyway, it's Christmas morning, and the boss is punishing all of us for his near-death experience by making us train bomb safety maneuvers to prevent future exploding rucksacks. And how will we help make Christmas dinner if we're all doing training? The boss almost blew up and died on Christmas. I wish he did. I'm kidding, obviously. But now he's pissed and canceled Christmas. I should have seen it coming. Just makes the day more lonely and harder than it ever had to be. I thought I was ready for how bad this Christmas could get, but I wasn't. I guess this is Christmas. The training is learned. We're almost to dinner, but the rolls have been burned. And so this is Christmas, or so I've been told. But nobody's happy, and the food's getting cold. So here's to next Christmas. It's only a year away. We'll have next Christmas. Let's hope that it's better than the Christmas that we had today. Hey Mo, they burned the rolls and I'm hungry. How much for a bag of homemade bread from the bazaar? $1? That can't be right. I can't pay $1 to make someone work on Christmas. Here. It's $20. Give them that. I understand they don't know it's Christmas. But I do. When Christmas gets ruined, you do what you can to salvage the good parts despite what you planned. No one here's expecting carols around the tree, but tonight's a reminder of where I'd rather be. So here's to next Christmas. It's never too far away. We'll have next Christmas. It can't be more dismal than the Christmas that we had today. Mo, what's that car? Why is it full of bread? There's bread in the seats. It's against the windshield, in the trunk. There's bread falling out the doors. It's a car full of bread. Why? For us? For Christmas. They did this for us. It's fresh and hot, right out of the oven. It's delicious. And there's so much of it. We couldn't get through all this in 100 Christmases. Maybe they did know. I guess there's still Christmas wherever you are. So long as there's goodness and bread in your car. Who needs a wreath or a day in the snow when somebody wiser gives you a reminder that holiday spirit can turn up wherever you go. And so we'll have next Christmas, and it's not far away. But now this Christmas is one I'll remember because of a stranger who gave us a Christmas today. We laughed and had wonderful bread with the rest of our meal. Nobody blew up that day. I was happy for the kindness of strangers. I spent one Christmas thousands of miles away. And since that Christmas, I've tried to remember the miracle that happened that day.
Next up, I'd like to share the episode Blood, which features the true story of Billy Estes, a hospital Navy corpsman who discovers her personal losses intersect with the wounded soldiers in hospital tents in Kandahar and Haiti. It has lyrics and music by Angela Parrish. It was directed by John Coppola and features performer Evelyn Hallis.
Is it my turn to share?
Okay, then. I guess I gotta do it if I want it to come easy someday, don't I? My week's been okay. I can't complain too much about the way things are going here. I exercised a little bit, listened to Glenn Miller on the record player. I laughed on the phone with my brother Barty. I like it here. Peaceful. I can do things here that make me feel good. It's just that I'm not always really here, you know? You know what I mean. That hiker got lost up at the mountain on Wednesday. We sent the helicopter up to find him. I just hate the sound of chopper blades because I can't stop it. I go right back there in an instant. I'm not here in Wyoming anymore. I'm getting ready to board the medical ship in Haiti, or I'm in Kandahar. I hear the blades from far away, and I get that nervous feeling, sick to my stomach. My beeper goes off, and I'm running to the hospital. I know what I'm about to see. I'll reach the ambulance bay, and it's just like every other day. So many traumatic injuries. Legs that look like crushed hamburger meat. Legs and arms twisted the wrong way. Burned so bad I can't identify them without their dog tags. Missing arms or legs. Some, just a torso with a head. People bleeding out left and right all over the deck. And I just down that part of my mind that can reckon with how inhumane it all is. No other choice. Navy corpsmen like me, see, we don't have the time to be horrified. Because it's your life or death, and it's in our hands. Those of you here who were never injured, well, you're the lucky ones, aren't you? But you probably don't know this. Myself and the other nurses, we even gave our own blood, bags and bags of it to save lives without a second thought. Maybe you didn't know it, but I know you understand it. You understand me. Well, you've been where I've been. And the words have never come easy, trying to talk about things like this. But at least here, I know you won't judge me. I can talk about the blood, and you won't try to change the subject like our families do sometimes. How am I supposed to change the subject when it was the subject that changed me? It's a part of me, forever. When it runs together, you can't tell whose is whose. Soldier, doctor, scholar, it's all a crimson color. When it pours and pours, it's a fight you're doomed to lose. No more calling trauma, so you let them call them mama. And when the body's still and the soul is good and gone, you clean the car 1,000,000 times and the scent still lingers on. And then you paint on lipstick and a smile and you stand in echelon, but you never forget the sight, the sound, the smell of blood. When the gurneys roll, it's a sea of human pain. Someone's sons and daughters wailing in the water.
and his chances all run through. The chaplain breathes a prayer and then the next one's in the queue. So you clean him up and ship him home with a broken piece of you, but you never forget the sight, the sound, the smell. Men, women, children, animals. Everybody bleeds, don't they? Y'all and I know that no one is spared in war, even if the ones running things tell us otherwise. I took care of them all, including my fellow corpsmen in the medical tent. Some of them were so young. Oh, sure, they'd gone to nursing school and seen some terrible things. But no nursing school on earth prepared them for what they saw out there. Sometimes they'd remind me of my own kids. First, I gave them a little extra support, even though I wasn't supposed to talk things out with them. I got in trouble for that. I had to stop. But it hurt to stop doing the thing I knew was right. Especially for soldiers who were basically children. I'm a mom. They needed a mom out there. Moms are there when you need them. And I get so angry. I just get so mad. I about can't stand it that people think women aren't in the combat zone. Women are medics, logistic drivers, soldiers. Who do you think comes in to pick up the pieces blown apart by the war's men start? It's always the women, isn't it? Everybody bleeds in war. But women, we bear the greatest pain. We've always been the ones to feel the pain in the world, ever since Eve in the garden, I guess. The pain of bringing a baby into this world. The pain when they leave it. There's a bluebird nest outside my window here, high up a tree. A mama and 2 little babies. Every morning I watch her feed them. They're so sweet. Sometimes they make me sad. There's so much they're facing just to survive. The hawks, the raccoons, the gardeners that come every week to trim the trees. Sometimes I don't like that my brain works like this now. But sometimes all I see in them is the casualties I know they'll be. Why do I think like this? I never did before. There was a mother in Haiti on the hospital ship where we cared for the wounded. Her daughter woke up terrified with both arms gone. She fed that daughter chicken soup, 1 spoon at a time, and she braided her hair. She did the things she knew she'd have to do from now on. She was warm, she was strong, she was wise. But I knew there was pain hidden deep within her eyes. You can put a cool washcloth on a fevered head. You can wipe a runny nose, clean a scraped up knee with peroxide, bandage fingers, feet and toes. But a mother's love can't fix it all, no matter how you try. Can't protect your babies from the bullets in the air and the rocket's red glare. There was a mother in Kandahar outside the hospital doors, wearing a burqa, burnt from the fire in the tent, crying, "Are my kids okay?" They were 4 and 5 years old. We tried with all our power to save them. They looked like sleeping angels as they passed away. As she fell to the ground in despair, I thought, who has the gall to say all in war is fair? You can lend an ear to a sad confession, make a lemonade, hold hands as they ride down the big park slide, sing lullabies so the nightmares fade. But a mother's love can't fix it all, no matter how you try. Can't protect your babies from the bullets in the air and the rocket's red glare. I was a mother in America, caring for others to bury my grief, 'cause the daughter I bore fought a battle herself, but a different kind. The pain of living can hurt so much. You're sure it's time to raise up the white flag. She couldn't bear the weight. She took her life at 29. When the dust from the battle departs, every race, every nation's full of mothers with empty hearts. You can be a pillow for a weary head. You can hug till tears are dry. Paint the blues another color and ease a shattered heart with apple pie. But a mother's love can't fix it all, no matter how you try. Can't protect your babies. There are bullets high and low, fast and slow, in the mind, in the air, and the rocket's red glare. I will never stop missing Bobby D, my middle girl. I wish she had known how much we all needed her to stay. Mostly, I wish she had known there was more to come, that it didn't have to be just heartbreak and bad memories. You've shown me that here in Wyoming. Bobby D would have loved it here. I wish she'd had a place like this. Talking about my pain has helped my PTSD like you wouldn't believe. and I'm getting used to talking about it. I mean, listen to me. I guess once I get started, I really get going. I've never felt peace in all my years like what I feel here. Haven't all of us earned a little peace at least? 'Cause war is evil. It knows no boundaries. It kills all ages and races. We're all just following orders and then obeying them, just like the enemy. That's what gets me. We all bleed. We all lose. Coming here, you all understand me. Being here has made such a difference in my life. Can I tell you my big dream? You won't think it's silly. I want to live out here someday. I want to work here someday, caring for the veterans right here at this facility. I can tell my story, and I can listen to theirs when they're ready to talk. If I can stop even one person from wanting to end things, if I can help them see that there is still so much to keep on living for. I have seen so many different kinds of pain in my life. And I've lived a lot of years. But I'd live it all over again if I had to. I was placed on this earth to serve, to care, to do what I can to help others in times of suffering. Sometimes all I can give is comfort. But that's worth it. I guess I finally see that you can keep choosing hope and comfort, or you can dive head first into darkness. And I'll always have my tough days, but I won't choose darkness. None of the hands that drop the bombs can ever take my choice away from me. That's the one loss I won't take. Some people say your loved ones come to visit you as animals. Bobby D loved bluebirds. I guess maybe she found this place after all. When I stop and think, it's a miracle I'm here. After all I've been through, storms that soaked my skin through, and all I want to do is sing out loud and clear. There is still a future, mountain air and nature. The depths can try to drown, the waves can crash and sway. They'll see they've met their match and they can't wash me away. 'Cause I'm still standing here, choosing hope and peace each day. I can never forget. It's my honor, my duty, It's in my blood.
And now I'd like to present The Messenger, which comes to us from retired Portuguese Air Force Colonel Paulo Gonçalves, a United Nations peacekeeper who learns his life's mission through a chance conversation with a 5-year-old Bosnian boy. It has music and lyrics by Ryan Patrick Martin, was directed by John Coppola, and features performer Eduardo Enrikez.
2 weeks in Lisbon. Sandy beaches, the summer sunshine, the tantalizing smell of grilled sardines in the air. I'm a citizen again for 2 whole glorious weeks. Then vacation is over and it's back to Zagreb for my next assignment. I'm a UN peacekeeper. I volunteered because I wanted to end wars and serve the people impacted by them. As my commanding officer briefs me on my next assignment, I realize I'm getting my wish. I'm going to Sarajevo. How to get to Sarajevo? Gotta get to Sarajevo. It was the summer of 1995. The Bosnian Civil War was raging, and Sarajevo was considered the most dangerous theater of operation in the world. When I asked when my flight would be leaving, the officer laughs in my face. A flight to Sarajevo? Forget it, Captain. You better go by car. And where you're going, I'd suggest something with armor. How to get to Sarajevo? It's a long, long way to drive. Better look for signs of landmines if you want to stay alive. You don't make a difference by staying at home. Get some air, breathe it in, let it go. Anybody know how to get to Sarajevo? How to get to Sarajevo? The drive from Zagreb to Sarajevo wouldn't ordinarily be too bad, but avoiding the worst of the war meant I'd have to take a considerable detour. But at least I wouldn't be making the trip alone. I was paired with Captain Rafael Almeida. In my mind, Rafa was a seasoned pro. He'd only done the drive once before, but hey, that's one more than I'd ever done. How to get to Sarajevo? You best stay on your toes. Out where bombs that fall leave marks that call a Sarajevo rose. Look, if it was easy, they'd send someone else. Get some rest, there's a long way to go. Anybody know how to get to Sarajevo? How to get to Sarajevo? So we left Zagreb before dawn. And a bombed-out road took us west to the Adriatic and south along the coast. And when we finally turned inland into Bosnia, the mountains began playing tricks on us. Tricks on our hearing. Machine gun could be heard kilometers away or just around the corner. And our headlights weren't working consistently, forcing us to navigate by moonlight. How to get to Sarajevo? Got to get to Sarajevo. Now the only way into Sarajevo was over Mount Igman, the final and most dangerous part of our trip. See, we had to make our way into the city along a narrow mountain road, a cliff really. One wrong turn can lead you straight into the trench of a rogue militia. Even worse, the mountain offered no protective cover. See, we were a moving target heading straight into a city crawling with snipers. And Rafa told me the Bosniaks had a saying: the Americans have Superman, but we have Igman. As we pointed our car down the steep mountain slope before us, I told him that if I had a choice, I thought I'd take my chances with Superman. It's a long, long way from Lisbon, a long, long way from Rome. You've been to war, but never before have you felt so far from home. It's a long, long way from Paris, from London or Lahore. You say you're fine, but it chills your mind to think of what's in store. You've got a mission. Stick to your mission. How to get to Sarajevo, it's a most peculiar scene, 'cause you barely miss a bullet's kiss when you're jamming out to Queen. You got past Mount Igman, survived in one piece, but it's time to get on with the show. 'Cause by now you know how to get to Sarajevo. How to get to Sarajevo. Now the city had battle markings all over the place. Destroyed homes, mortar impacts on the pavement, ruined military gear. All around us, buildings were disfigured with bullet holes. And the bombed out house to our left wished us, welcome to Sarajevo. When you get to Sarajevo, your work has just begun. The air is thick with ash from burning trash, and the water doesn't run. The city needs a miracle, but where do you start? You say breathe, take one step at a time. I was a military information officer. I wasn't so much a spy as a thermometer. See, my job was to understand what was happening on the ground, to live openly among the population and discover what they felt and saw. Challenge, as I would soon find out, wasn't collecting information, but filtering it, figuring out what was important. And one day, while I was patrolling the streets, I came across these kids playing hide and seek in the ruins of their neighborhood. You know, with snipers in the area, hide and seek was the only game they could safely play outside. And one of the kids stopped the game when he saw me. And he runs up to me, uninhibited, in that way that only a 5-year-old can be. And he asks me. Translating, an older boy calls out. He's asking, how is the war in your country? What a punch to the stomach. To realize that this was the only reality they knew. Years after I left Bosnia, long after the war finally ended, I found myself returning again and again to that day, to those kids playing hide and seek in the ruins of their city, not knowing any other life. And I felt like an information officer all over again. I kept turning the episode over and over in my mind, sure that there was something more important there I hadn't uncovered. And then it occurs to me. See, all these years, I pitied those kids for thinking that war was the natural order of things. But what if? What if they were right? What if war is the rule and peace exception? You see, my work with the UN brought me to conflicts all over the world. I've seen 3 civil wars in 3 different continents. I know firsthand just how easily peace breaks down and how hard it is to build back up. It's easy to think that we're in the clear. These things that you read about could never happen here. But we're not exempt of that, I'm quite sure. One day there's peace, the next day there's war. You can see for yourself. Go on, take a look. Just flip to a random page in any history book. What they should have seen, they chose to ignore. One day there's peace, the next day there's war. It starts with a bluff. It starts with a fold. It starts with political expedience, the certainty a mob could be controlled. It starts with a lie they all cheer. And make no mistake, it could happen here, even here, even now. Don't pin your hopes on horoscopes or heroes to appear, 'cause it's up to us. It's up to us, or it could happen here. Make no mistake, I know we made a difference. Because of our presence in Bosnia, those kids could play outside, even if it was only hide and seek. These days, I can't help thinking about the next war. It seems like a stretch, the plot of a play. You know that it happens, sure, but only far away. But we're not unique. It's happened before. One day there's peace, the next day a war. And it makes me wonder if peacekeeping isn't sort of like being a firefighter. You race to the fire, you fight it all night, and just when you finally get a handle on it, you're called away to the next one, and the one after that. And at some point, you start to wonder if war, like fire, is something like a fact of life, another consequence of human carelessness. It starts with a speech. It starts with lies. It starts with one essential message that you can trust what's right before your eyes. And how does it end? That's not quite so clear. But make no mistake, it could happen here. See, what I wanted to know was, how do you fight the war that hasn't happened yet? That war that no one else can see? And at some point, you realize there's only one thing you can do. You become a messenger. Even here, even now. Don't sit and wait till it's too late when warning signs appear, 'cause it's up to us. It's up to us, or it will happen here.
As an interesting sidebar, Colonel Gonçalves was able to have that episode featured as part of this past International Day of UN Peacekeepers at a special event in Lisbon. Now, there are also more episodes that you can view on our website, including The Interrogator, based on the experience of Army veteran Elaine Little, an interrogator who once grilled the only female prisoner in Bagram on charges of terrorism, with music and lyrics by Joshua H. Cohen and featuring performer Megan Reese. Chasing Ghosts, based on the Iraq war memoir An Angel from Hell by infantryman Ryan Conklin, with music by Ron Barnett and lyrics by Christine Croydon, featuring performer Troy Armand Barboza. And Judy and Me, a bittersweet story of a father and a son whose relationship with the military shifts over time, as told by former Air Force C-130 pilot J.A. Mode II, with book and lyrics by J.A. Mode II, music by Philip Holicky, and featuring performer Michael A. Shepard. We also have a few more in post-production right now, which we will be releasing in the coming months. But I can share a couple of song excerpts with you this evening. The first excerpt is from The American Dream, based on the experiences of retired Navy photographer's mate Brenda Garcia, who was a photographer in the White House under two very different administrations, with book by Amy Andrews, music by Isabel Guzman, dramaturgy by Dana Iannuzzi, directed by Claudia Duran, and featuring performer Stephanie Rojo.
It was 1987. Top Gun was a big hit at the movie theater. And I thought, that looks like fun. So I joined the Navy and left my home to see the world. Almost 30, time for change. Just watch those airplanes soar. Maybe I'll find my Hollywood dreams in faraway places, surreal as it seems. I know there must be more. A girl from La Puente, my future's inside. A girl from La Puente, the bridge where the past meets the future. Cultura of riches, familia, I've known the love of mi gente. I carry it with me. La Puente forever in mi corazón.
And this next excerpt is from Still Standing Proud, a very challenging episode that deals with military sexual trauma. Our veteran for this episode prefers to remain anonymous, but the lyrics and music are by Natalie Rebecca Lovejoy, and the performer is Janie Morris.
And my hope is that people recognize the PTSD that other warriors go through might not just be because they went to a war zone and fought battles. It's also a war zone in their own minds, suffered because of someone else. I'm not the first person that this happened to, and unfortunately it will not be the last. So instead of hiding in shame, speak the fucking truth. You're alone and ashamed. You're so tired of being questioned, being silenced, being blamed. What if everyone's starting to think that you're not as strong as you claim to be? The story's now long gone. They say it's hide away. But I say, tell it over and over and over again. When they pretend not to hear, take a deep breath and then say it louder and louder till someone listens, and someone will listen. You can find some relief in the next lover or bottle, but the comfort will be brief. You get clever and better at finding new covers for the grief and hate. No matter what you try to do, the only way out is through. Don't protect them, don't hesitate, and don't wait. Tell it over and over and over again. When they push you to change it, just smile and then repeat and repeat it till someone listens, and someone will listen. There are angels out there, they won't make you feel crazy. Keep looking and they'll come through. And when the sighting's rare, there's an angel in you. Find her, and when you do, tell her it's not her fault and it wasn't right. Tell her she is loved. Tell her she's worth the fight. And tell her over and over and over again. When her will starts to fade, take a deep breath and then repeat and repeat it until she listens. And someday she'll listen. And then someone will listen. Someone will listen.
A couple of other episodes that we will be releasing soon include English Major in Camouflage, a story from former U.S. Navy intelligence officer Melissa Milich about being tasked to regale a foreign general with stories from American literature, with book by Melissa Milich, lyrics and music by Katie Brady, and featuring performer Elizabeth Boughton, and The Things You Miss, a story from retired United States Air Force pilot George Nolly, based on his experiences flying 315 combat missions on 2 successive tours of duty in Vietnam. Lyrics and music by Benjamin Emery Larson, and book by George's son, Stephen Nolly. We are very honored to have this programming funded in part from generous grants from the Helen and Jose Colton Foundation, the Peter Glenville Foundation, the Anonymous Fund Marin County, and the California Arts Council. We also recently hosted an Indiegogo campaign designed to help us fund even more episodes. That campaign is officially fully funded for our initial goal, but it is still available for contributions to help us reach our stretch goals of more episodes, as well as the possibility of combining some of these episodes into 20, 40, or 60-minute live theatrical productions that would be available for military or community events. We are also looking to raise funds for a trilogy of episodes which will focus on military sexual trauma. After working on the episode Still Standing Proud, we felt compelled to see what we could do to help raise awareness about this much shushed topic. If you are interested in helping us with that funding, please visit the website listed below, or just go to indiegogo.com and search for So Proudly We Hailed. I cannot express how proud we are of this program that provides a vibrant record of veteran experiences. We are very committed to the idea that through the creation of musical, theatrical, short films, participants and audience may gain more insight and understanding of the military experience. Thanks for sharing this evening with us. And again, on this Veterans Day, I would like to send a big thanks to all veterans for their service and for sharing their stories.
I think this story is really powerful because anyone who listens to it or watches it, I think will relate in some way. And I also think for people who have never served in the military, I think it's really important that we do hear these stories, that we hear the stories of these veterans, because we all have something that we can learn from them. And I think this is a really great opportunity to be able to inform ourselves a little bit and to be able to offer a little more empathy for people who have fought for our freedoms.
Really, thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
And thank you. I cannot thank New Musicals enough.
Thank you. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having this opportunity for the veterans to be able to share their stories and reaching out to the veterans. So it's been a big help. And I know you're probably going to be doing more too.